What's up YouTube's PZSCN here. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how you can actually make your own cheap and cheerful space pen. So I was taking a look at some pens that I have, and I noticed that the ink cartridge inside of it was very similar to that of a Fisher Space Pen ink cartridge. So that gave me the idea to consider trying this out. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to do it. I actually haven't done it yet, but I do know what needs to be done. So let's go ahead and get into it. This will require very little work. All we need to do is widen the part where the tip comes out and cut the spring a little bit. But without further ado, let's go and get into it. So the pens that I'm going to be using, I wouldn't necessarily call them the cheapest pens in the world, but they are quite a bit cheaper than even the cheapest model space pen. It's the original F301, whatever that means, ballpoint pen, fine point black ink, stainless steel. I have opened this package. I just wanted to put it back in the packaging so I could show you what it looks like. You can see it does actually have a warranty somewhere on here, which is interesting. I believe you can get this pack for $7, I want to say. This might work with any, zebra pen. I don't know if you specifically would need this one. I'm pretty sure, I don't know a whole lot about zebra pens. I don't know if they all take the same inserts or not, but it does say that, it mentioned somewhere on here that they take, zebra refills, which I guess you can purchase. So I guess therefore they probably all, all their pens probably use the same inserts. I don't know that for a fact though, but if you want to, you can, I guess if you have a zebra pen, you can see if your insert looks pretty similar to mine. So without further ado, the other thing you're going to need, obviously, is you're going to need a Fisher Space Pen insert. Now, I don't have a spare Fisher Space Pen insert, so I'm just going to use the one that's not inside of this. This is my Trekker pen. So I'm just going to go ahead and take that out right quickly. Alright, so there we go. You're just going to need your a Fisher Space Pen insert, and they cost about $5. You can buy them at Staples. And my Staples, you have to look. They're at like the bottom right corner of the little display. They're really hidden. You have to really look for them. I don't know why, but actually it's funny because I was telling one of the teachers at my high school who also likes space pens that they, when I told him that they sold these inserts, he pretty much was the most excited person I've seen in a while, because every time his pens run out of ink, he just goes and buys another space pen altogether. But you don't need to do that. You can actually buy these refills. So anyways, without further ado, I'm going to be using the pen that's on the right here, because that's the pen I was tinkering around with. Yeah, let's go ahead and set this off to the side, get this out of the way, and let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, so the way that this pen comes apart, is pretty simple to get to the ink cartridge. We're just going to unscrew this. I'm going to unscrew actually from down here. The little tip here and the grip are actually two different pieces, but they're both threaded onto each other. And here we have the insert. Now it's plastic, and let's get this spring off. It's plastic, but it's very similar to a space pen cartridge. You can see it's a little different. It's got a little bit of a different, design, but in terms of the height, it's identical. In terms of the width, from what I can tell, maybe slightly thinner, but it doesn't matter because this will still fit inside. You will note, though, if I take this spring here and put it on here, so the spring, when it's all the way down, you can see that it just, that the tip just barely pokes out there. But when we put it on the space pen insert, you will see that the spring practically swallows it. So we're going to need to cut the spring down a little bit. That's one thing we're going to need to do. And then the second thing we're going to need to do is widen this hole, which I'm actually going to do first. Even though I said we're doing it second, I'm going to do it first, because I don't know, since this is a metal tip, I don't know if that's going to cause any issues. But what I have are some Allen wrenches, because I don't have a drill. So unfortunately a couple of them are missing. Hopefully I have one that'll be wide enough. I think this one probably is about as good as I'm going to get, so let's see. Yeah, that doesn't actually fit through, so let's see how. Yeah, unfortunately that RPO, what size is this? Actually, I think yours is size. This is size 2. Average. Let's see what the size 1.5 does. I think that's 1.5. So here's the next one's going to fit through. Yeah, you see that through actually, so if you want that one that would be size 2. So what I'm going to do is like, sort of drill it, I guess, just sit in here and just sort of work it through. Now, like I say, it's going to mill, and I'm going to touch plastic off just because there's resistance if we're not careful, so you just have to do this. Leverage is going to be an issue. Let's see, can this work? Oh, nice, Earl. I don't know if that's actually worth doing or not. Alright, so basically, just line the whole slightly. I think that this iron should be sufficient. If you have a drill, that you can find a ditch one that's pretty. Okay, so I got the hole widened, and here's what I did. I decided to ditch this idea entirely. Alright, you know, I tried like tapering the end of this and everything and blah, but I just found that it wasn't working, and I don't really want to be spending all day on this. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a proof of concept. You know, you can make, you know, just, yeah, you get the idea. So what I did, just to kind of speed things up, we do actually do have a drill, but I don't know where the drill bits are, and I don't actually think my dad knows where the drill bits are. So what I did was I took this nail, which was conveniently nearby. It's a bit of a wide nail, but I didn't really feel like looking for a thinner nail, which I probably should have. That would have been a good idea. But I took this nail, and I put it into the end where the drill bits go, because, I mean, it's pretty universal. Pretty much anything can fit. So I put that in, and then what I did was I put the pin back together, at least the body part. You know, I left the ink cartridge out, obviously, and the spring, and then I just sort of stuck it in there, and then turned the drill on and just sort of pressed into the nail here. And what that did is it kind of spread out the end a little bit. But, you know, like I say, I'm not really going for neatness here. I'm more so, like I say, this is a proof of concept video. I want you guys to know that you can, you know, there are, if you really want your space pin, you can make them. You know, you can make your own, but it's going to require a little bit of modding. But this next step is going to be very simple. What we need to do, now that we have this, and by the way, the space pin actually does fit actually perfectly, because it stops at this, which is where it stops on all traditional space pins. You know, this little bit right here where you see that crease is a little bit thicker than this, and that's where it stops. If it overshoots that, that's fine, I guess, but you know, that's actually not that bad. So anyways, let's go ahead and take this apart again. Let's leave that on, and I'll show you this way again, I guess. So bam, that's what we want. Alright, and that's actually beautiful, like I say, because it stops at that thicker part of the, you know, I guess the collar or the whatever. So now we need to work on the spring. Now the spring, if we put it on here, like I've already shown you, you know, if we put it on all the way, you know, it's a little weird because the spring is a little bit odd, but it's basically, you know, covers, you know, a little tiny amount of the tip is sticking out, so I want to get that same thing on this. We could just leave the spring as is, but I think I have another idea for the extra spring that we wind up with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the spring. So let's go ahead and let's do that. Got the spring on here, and I'm going to cut just above where my fingernails are. So I should use my right hand because I'm a left-handed person. Alright, I'm going to do it to this. Fingernails are a little long, but that's besides the point. I'm aware that they're long. I'll cut them after this video. Calm down. Alright, so I am going to cut about this much off, but I want both halves of the spring. Actually, I'm going to cut, no, let's not cut too much excess off. Let's just cut right here. And I want both halves of the spring, so being careful not to, like, okay, so they didn't, like, go flying or anything. That's good. Actually, did that even cut? I don't think so. That's annoying. I have another solution. A little bit overkill. Ease. Should cut it. Alright. So again. Yeah! There we go. Might have ruined the spring in that, but Well, we have... I'm actually going to cut the little bit of bent spring off, but I want to make sure that this is caught so I can throw it away. There you go. Yeah, it's right there, so I'm going to throw this thing away, and then probably going to cut the messed up spring off of this too. So, well, this one isn't that bad. Okay, so anyways, I got my spring cut. So if we put this on the Spaceman insert, like so, that looks pretty good. So, now, let's put it together and see if it works. So I'm going to, yeah. Alright, so, and I know I'm going to be cutting a lot of that out. I cut a little bit extra off because I kind of messed up the spring when I cut it first time. So, yeah, but I need to make sure I get this. Actually, I'm going to throw this away right now. And I'm back. So, I might have cut that up, might not have. We'll find out. Probably did, though. Okay, so let's put this on and see what happens. Hopefully something good happens. Hopefully we didn't just waste our time. Hey, it clicked. Nice. So now we have a space pen that is less than, you know, $20 or whatever. I could, if I wanted to, if I found that the tip on this bugged me, I could go ahead and I don't know how I'd go about smoothing that back out, but I'm sure there's a way I could. But usually you'd probably want to use a drill for that. A drill would be a much better solution, like a drill with an actual drill bit. I know the method I used was not at all the right way to do it, but just using what I have. So yeah, I didn't want to really spend all day on this. So let's try it out. I might have ruined some of the paper in here. I'm just going to open to a random sheet. Alright. And right. And that feels... Oops, it's all out of focus. Grr. Like I was saying, this feels just... Let me actually try that again. Feels just like a regular space pen. So I might consider maybe getting another cartridge so I can actually use this as a space pen. But I kind of like my Trekker space pen, so I'm going to be putting it back in there. Also, something else to keep in mind, since you do have 2 of these pens, that's a nail, not a cartridge. Let me go and close this up here. Since you do have 2 of these pens, you do now have an extra cartridge for the other one, right here. This is the one we did not modify, so, you know, it still takes the regular insert, so there you go. But, like I say, you now have yourself a lovely, cheapo space pen, which works perfectly. So, there might be, like I say, the hardest part of it is just widening the hole, so that way the space pen cartridge has enough clearance for the clicky mechanism to work. But after you get that sorted out, you will just need to trim down the spring, and you will have yourself a cheap and cheerful space pen. Actually, oh, I was gonna say, I think I might have genericized it, but no, I didn't. I thought like the writing on it, the branding rubbed off. Oops. Well, did it a little bit. I don't know. No, it didn't. We're good. Alright, so stay in frame. That's it, guys. Stay in frame. There we are. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. And adios.